Hello, YouTube. This is Mahadeva, the OG Thunder Wizard. All right. Today I want to share with you 5 exercises that you can do that I guarantee will help to hasten the awakening within you. And today we're going to be talking about the most important mindset that you need to have in order to be able to create this awakening. And why this time period, why now, is perhaps in history the most important time for human evolution, and what exactly is going on, what's being revealed, and what we can do about it. Okay, so the thunder path. Let's talk about what we're doing with the thunder path, where the thunder path is going. So if you've done any research into any traditional indigenous path, shamanic path that uses thunder, whenever you hear the word thunder this or thunder magic or any of that stuff, you will always be dealing with a practice or a path that is focused on destruction of negativity, destroying of evil, fighting evil beings, evil essences, destroying corruption, destroying illusion. So we're going to be talking about what destroying evil really is. And it all has to do with Ascension. And right now, more than ever, this is among the most important things that anybody can possibly do right now. What we're doing right now, what's happening in the world right now, is that there is a battle for your awareness. And this war that is being waged, literally being waged, people are dying, fighting to control your perception and your awareness of yourself and reality. So the first place that those who want to destroy your perception, those who want to control you, those who want to use you, manipulate you, and benefit from your mind, your perception, and your energy, first place that they're going to fight this war is in your perception of your relationship to the universe, to the infinite. That's the first place. And if they can convince you that you are a victim, then they can control you from then on. Then they can tell you anything they want and you'll believe them. Because they first have to tell you that you're a victim. Then they have to set themselves up as the savior. It's typical sales. This is what all salesmen do. They give you the problem and then they're the one that has the solution. So the very people who are wanting to destroy your perception of your relationship to the universe, and the very people who want to talk you out of your own power, are the very same people who are going to be telling you, I am here to save you from the evil so-and-so, I am the whatever it is, whoever they are. So this path of thunder is truly the path of the warrior. It's the path of the true rebel. The true rebel who fights for their own emotional, psychological, and spiritual independence. Your entire reason for being on this planet was your doing. Nobody did it to you. Nobody brought you here. You haven't been created. You haven't been sent here. You haven't been punished. You haven't been forced down here to deal with. None of that is true. That is part of the lie. If they can, especially if they can get you spiritually to believe that, then they have complete control over you and they can manipulate you from then on. So none of that happened. You came here by choice. Not only did you come here by choice, but you, if you are a human being, and if you're watching this, you obviously are, then you actually had more merit than any other being in the universe. Gods wish they could come and be human. So every being out there looks at you as a hero, as a god. They look at you as a special divine individual. They bow to you, but only if you acknowledge your power within, your infinity, your divinity within. If you don't acknowledge that, which is the first step that those who want to control you will do, they will talk you out of that. And they will tell you that you've been created, or that you were sent here as a punishment, or karma brought you here and you have to blah blah blah. All that stuff is what those in power use to deceive you and keep you deceived. But what's happening is that those forces that have been conspiring to control and use you, those methods are falling apart. So much so that, again, they will come to you and they'll tell you that they want you to rebel against the evil this or the evil that. And so you believe you're being this rebel. But in order to do that, as I said, they have to gaslight you. And they gaslight you into, if you know the term gaslight, it comes from a play. I actually acted in that play in college. And it has to do with this con man who is trying to con this woman. And he convinces her that she's going crazy when she's not. And so it creates this cognitive dissonance where she can't believe anything that's happening around her. Anything she sees or experiences, she can't believe it because he's convincing her that it's not there, it's not happening, and that she's going crazy. And so this is what gaslighting is. And this is those who want to control you gaslight you out of your infinity. But they at the same time tell you they're the ones that are teaching you to rebel against the devil or rebel against, pick it, whatever it is that you're rebelling against. But you still operate from the fundamental assumption that you are a victim. Somebody is victimizing you. And when that happens, then you think you're rebelling. 1984 is a great example. The book, the movie 1984. They're constantly changing the enemy around. One day you're fighting Oceania, and then the next day you're fighting whatever it is. And they, one day your enemies, then the next day they become your allies, and you're fighting with them. And that is a plan. They change that around so that you don't know. You're constantly looking outside of yourself. But there is one enemy, and only one enemy, and that is your resistance to your infinity. And so the thunder path is the path that taps you into this lightning. You know how powerful lightning is? I wish I don't have it in front of me, but lightning is, I don't know how many tens of thousands of times hotter than the surface of the sun. Lightning and thunder has a strong association with electromagnetism. The electromagnetic force is something like 10 to the 34th power stronger than gravity. It is the electromagnetic force that keeps the sun from destroying itself, burning itself out. The electromagnetic force is what keeps me from falling through my chair straight to the center of the earth. It's the thing that keeps my hands from passing through each other. Boundaries. And so this path of the thunder is the path of your boundaries, your protection against everything that would seek to destroy your sense of self. And as I said, there is a battle going on right now. And those who want to take away your power are the very people who are telling you that they're the ones protecting you from evil. All right, so the thunder path, thunder and lightning go together. And the thunder heralds the lightning. Lightning is the force within you that activates your ascension. But there's a mechanism in there, a fail-safe mechanism in there that keeps you from tapping into this lightning within you. Because for many people, if they tap into the lightning, it can destroy them. They're not ready to completely achieve that level of infinity. So you have doing, when you do energy work, you will do things like Kundalini stuff, Kundalini yoga, Kundalini meditations. Mantra deals with Kundalini. Kundalini is the energy in the spinal column that helps you psychologically become mature. The 7 chakras are 7 levels of maturity, psychological awareness. That is part of the process. You must become psychologically aware. You must become mature. You must stop being a child and become a fully responsible, self-responsible adult. And being an infinite being that you are this soul that is infinite. In order for that infinite soul to interface in 3-dimensional reality in a spiritually constructive context, Kundalini is given to you through the spinal column and through the nervous system in order to allow the soul to interface with 3-dimensional reality while still being infinite. But that's only part of the equation. Then you have life force energy, chi, prana. Kundalini and prana, Kundalini and chi are 2 different things, no matter what anybody tells you out there. If they weren't, the Vedics wouldn't have come up for 2 different words for them. One, as I said, is your psychological interface with 3-dimensional reality, which people mistake for spiritual enlightenment. It's only one part of it. Then you have life force energy. Life force energy is the ambient power that pervades everything in the physical universe. It itself has consciousness. Life force energy, looks to you because life force energy sees you as this infinite soul in this meatbag avatar that you walk around in. So the more that you summon this power, the more it rushes to empower you physically and go all the way to the core of your being so that you can actually connect to the 3-dimensional infinity. So, according to physicists, the universe is infinite. It's not a finite little bubble. It's infinite. And so there's that infinity of the 3-dimensional reality, but then of course there are dimensions above that. So when we use the word infinity, we can get confused. So life force energy gives you power to connect to the infinity of the manifested universe which you yourself created. And then we have the soul. So the soul, as I said, is an infinite point of light residing here in the heart. It itself, the soul, is a doorway. It is a wormhole to something beyond 3-dimensional reality. Even the infinite 3-dimensional universe, your soul is a portal to infinities even beyond that. And that infinity cannot stay in 3-dimensional reality without rupturing it. So in order to keep that infinite power, which is you, your soul, it's encased in lightning. There's light. Imagine the little tiny beam of light that's so bright it destroys everything around it, and then there's this container. And then in the container there's lightning bouncing around, like, if you imagine from like those old 50s movies, there's lightning bouncing around, keeping it suspended there. And this is the very tenuous experience that you get to have. Now, if you do not accept the very frightening assumption that you yourself are God, that you yourself are infinite, that you yourself created everything that you see around you, if you do not go that route and accept that assumption and act upon that assumption, then you will be trapped in the matrix. Then you will be a victim. then you are vulnerable to evil. Then you are vulnerable to corruption. Then you are vulnerable to death and decay. Now, this three-dimensional universe that you've created for your infinite soul to come and enjoy, because the soul can't experience three-dimensional limited reality in and of itself. It has to take on this human avatar, and it has to stay in its little lightning container. If you do not operate directly from that power of lightning, then what ends up happening is that then you live from being trapped in the illusion of being limited. It's part of the game you created. And you created it because, like any video game, if there isn't the threat of death, it's no fun. If your man can't die as you're dodging bullets or whatever it is, it's no fun. Your soul doesn't have any fun if there isn't a real threat of being trapped in limitation. In fact, that's part of it. You must become conscious and aware. So we have these tools like Kundalini. We have these tools like mantra. We have these tools like Qigong. And we have these tools like meditation, which are the ways that you tap into that portal of infinity within yourself so that you can remember. But there's always going to be this resistance. And so this is the battle. And we are now at a crossroads. Up until this time, especially for the last 2,000 years, they, whoever they are, the elites, and whatever, I was just thinking about this today, being 57, I've lived through 2 or 3 different generations of the elites. And what has happened now is that the narrative has been, you are being attacked by the devil, you must bow and worship God, you must repent. And that manifests in multiple ways: politics, society, religion. Even people who are, quote, atheists are still operating from this same, monotheist, good versus evil, two-dimensional mindset, judgmental black and white mindset. And that the idea is for the elites, in order to control you, they have to keep you in this dynamic of, you can't get too independent. Because if you do, then you will wake up and you will overthrow the balance of things. So they teach you how to be a victim, and they teach you how to fight against, teaching you to fight against false, enemies. You're tilting at windmills. And when you become too powerful in your rebellion, they can no longer control you, but then you destroy their ability to keep that lie going. Now, without getting political, people have said to me about Donald Trump, again, it just amazes me, the different opinions about all this stuff. People tell me he's upsetting the system. He's going in there and upsetting the system. Which is true, except that he doesn't have a path behind him. He is just pure destruction. And that is actually, I'm realizing, something that can be very helpful, because now people can wake up. When you fight against the system while staying in the system, they can still control you. But when you fight to destroy the system, which is what people are doing now, people have become so aware that they're being controlled, and they've been gaslit so many times in so many different ways that they no longer trust anything or anybody except the voices of dissent. So as long as they're dissenting, whether it's Antifa, whether it's Proud Boys, whether it's Trump, whether it's born-again Christianity, I'm telling you, everybody's flipping out. If you've been alive as long as I have, remember what born-again Christians were like in the 60s and 70s? Look at them now. They've completely lost their minds. You remember what the liberal agenda was in the 60s and 70s? And look at it now, Antifa. It's completely lost its mind. When you look at right-wing Republicans who were all about, lower taxes and, not giving out money to the poor. Look at them now. Everything is being blown out of proportion. Everything is destroying itself. And this is because people realize that they cannot trust their perceptions of objective reality. In fact, people doubt that there is an objective reality. This is what we have with the whole, escaping the matrix. People wanting to escape the matrix, meaning they don't believe that they can achieve any kind of connection with this three-dimensional universe without feeling trapped. So I'm here to tell you that you can. But in order to do that, you have to tap into the force of lightning. And that is what's surrounding the heart. And this was, up until very recently, this path of the lightning, this path of thunder, was reserved for black magicians. And so even you had people, Taoist masters, Kundalini masters, who were teaching you enlightenment. They would stay away from this power of lightning because it was too powerful. Those who did learn it were, oftentimes under threat of death, not to reveal it. I was given, 30 years ago, I was given the speech, I could never reveal this to anybody. I could never talk about this in public. And so I've been sneaking it out. All the stuff that I teach, I'm sneaking this stuff out in tiny increments. But now that we're at this crossroads where humanity's consciousness is literally on the line, so much so where people are destroying themselves and destroying and nuking everything around without any real plan on how to fix it afterwards. We now need to get to the highest level of awareness. This COVID pandemic, which now that we look like we're about to get a handle on it, and then these new strains pop up. This is a sign that the COVID pandemic, regardless of whether you think it's real or not, I'm not going to get into that with you, we can agree it is an external manifestation of people's feeling of isolation. The isolation that has come in the past 20, 30 years, especially with internet, where people get lost in their own information bubbles, where people's interaction with objective reality is only through some kind of device. That I forgot what I was saying. That has created a crisis of isolation, which is now being manifest in this world. The whole world is in lockdown. It's been a year now. We've been in lockdown almost an entire year. So now's the time we got to break out the big guns. And that's because the universe has said it's over. You can either evolve or we can just wipe this one out. We can just put our thumb on the human race and just get rid of it, or you can evolve to the next level. So I'm going to be talking about 5 different exercises today that you can do that and achieve that. And so the first one is the Huul breath. So Huul breath. This is number 1. You can just go online anywhere and type in Huul breath. You will find videos of me teaching you how to do that. This breath came to me, had to have been a little over 10 years ago, I think. And what was happening is that I had come to the end of my practice in this esoteric, thunder path. And because of, spiritual teachers, just because they have access to power doesn't necessarily mean that they're very conscious. So I was a threat to them. And because of politics and other things, I was kicked out of the sect. And that ended up being a blessing, because as a result of that, I was now free to study with whoever I wanted, and I was able to connect with people higher up in the sect who taught me things that my teachers didn't know. And because I was trying to learn all of these things, what I didn't realize is that the power of this stuff, when you get the purest exercises, is that when you get hit with it, you feel like you've blown circuits, and I felt like I had blown circuits, and my energy levels were going all over the place. And what I didn't realize is that my body was working to adjust. My body can handle the energy now, but I didn't know. I didn't have anybody to walk me through those energy imbalances. And so in meditation, I reached out to whomever. I didn't know who. I just, in meditation, as my energy was going crazy all over the place, I said, I need an energy practice, a one syllable breath, posture, something. That was my instinct, was telling me that's what I needed. And in meditation, I just asked for it. And then I got this very specific meditation with a visualization and with a breath and with a sound and a posture. And I did it. It immediately fixed my energy problems. I experimented with it for a while, and then I started teaching it. And I watched what happened. And you will see, if you watch my videos, if you look at the comments section, you will see a lot of people have said that the Hool breath has done immense healing and balancing for them. So this is the gateway. This breath I give to you for free. I hand it to the whole world. It's my gift to the world. It's been given to me. And it is the foundational practice. If you do that meditation, energy meditation every day, even if you just did that only for the rest of your life, it would take care of everything for you. And I've given people the challenge, people who just come on and watch the channel, who don't, click any of the links and aren't subscribing to anything, who aren't my apprentices. And I give the same challenge to you. If you're new to the channel, or if you're just somebody that watches but you don't want to buy anything, I give you the challenge. Do the Hool breath for 1 hour every day. Give yourself 6 months. Do it 1 hour every day for 6 months, and come back 6 months and tell me that nothing happened. Tell me that nothing changed for you. This energy practice, what it does is it allows this lightning energy in your body to connect directly to the earth. It also channels heavenly celestial energy into the body, into the heart center where this lightning power is, and it allows it to safely move throughout your body. So it's the first step into tapping into this lightning power. Let me tell you why this lightning power is so important. In order to know the truth, people want to know the truth. Do you want to be able to go through life and know the truth about what you're seeing, what people are saying, what people are doing, the truth about yourself? If you want that, and you want to know without a doubt what the truth is and not be able to be conned and manipulated and controlled, you need this lightning power. It surrounds your soul. So your soul is here in your heart center, and then there's this meridian called the pericardium. And the element of the pericardium meridian, it's not the pericardium itself, it's an energy field around your heart. That the element of that is fire, but specifically it is lightning. This lightning protects you from emotional, psychological, and spiritual attack to your soul. What ends up happening, however, is that it creates shields. It creates psychological shields between you and the external universe. Unless you look at yourself. Every time that somebody harms you, every time you've been hurt, betrayed, abused, many of you, most of us, have gone through long-term abuse, long-term gaslighting, long-term shame, long-term, it could be direct abuse or it could be neglect, but everybody in the world has been touched by this. There's a huge percentage of the population that has this tragically. The people who say, I don't know who to believe. The people who think that the universe is out to get them, you have been traumatized. And your heart center has created shields, psychological shields that protect you. Those psychological shields, which are rage, shame, self-doubt, those psychological shields are only meant to protect you for a temporary time. But when they become the assumptions that you have about the universe, which again, this is what religion does. Religion comes to you and says, God created you, and that makes you feel good. Ooh, God created you. God created you in his own image. And then he abruptly decided to hate you. Arbitrarily. You didn't do anything. But Adam and Eve was born and they sinned, and therefore you are responsible. You're going to go to hell. You're born separate from God. You will never be close to God. God will never reach out to you because you are imperfect, and because of your imperfection, you are therefore unlovable. That right there is abuse. Then comes the gaslighting. But we have this Savior. What God did, because he hates you so much, he took all of his homicidal rage against you, remember, you're the one he hates, on his perfect Son, who loves you and has done nothing to either God or you, and he is perfect and he's a victim, and he was ritually sacrificed, and God poured out his wrath of you onto him. And because of that, God is going to spare you. That is abuse, gaslighting. So now you're gaslit and you have to, deal with that. You go into the world functioning that way, you're going to be limping around and being manipulated by anybody who comes around and says the devil's out to get you. It doesn't matter who it is. And as long as you paste the devil onto whomever, evil onto whomever, then you're now being manipulated. You're abused. When you can heal the wounds that you have created in the armor that you have surrounding your heart, you get to look at yourself. You get to look at why you chose to be deceived, why you chose to be manipulated. And the bottom line is because you wanted love. What you ultimately wanted was God's love. And in order to get the giant, according to religion, the abusive narcissist to love you, you had to debase yourself. You had to take on shame and guilt. This also happens within families. It happens within societies. This is what politics is all about. Politics is just a shame game. Whoever has the most power to shame the other party is the power who gets the most people behind them. So you have to look at your wounds and you have to look at your personal desires. I talk on this channel all the time about you have to know what your emotional agendas are. So anybody's emotional agendas, this is whenever I say you've got an emotional agenda, it means that you've got a wound. You've got a wound surrounding being loved. And your defense against the pain of that wound is whatever crazy narcissistic idea that you're hanging on to, that I'm trying to pry away from you. But I can't do the work for you. You've got to do it. Now, not everybody has the ability to magically get honest and become conscious of their self-directed negativity. In fact, my teacher, one of the first things he said, he called sin, he said, oh, sin, S-I-N, self-imposed negativity. When you stop judging yourself, you no longer have to worry about sin. When you understand your motives and your agendas, you no longer have to worry about being a good person to others, because you will see that what is good for you is good for others, and what is good for others is good for you. And then you get to take action, even if other people who can't see that don't like it, you don't take it on. And you also don't need to separate yourself from anybody else out of fear. So, the Hool breath is the beginning of that process. This connects your soul energy, beginning to connect to this lightning. surrounding the heart, and then you get to heal. So it connects you directly to the earth, the heaven and the earth going through you, but through your hands when you do the Hool breath. If those of you who want to further deepen your meditative experience, when you're doing the posture, right? You can't see me right now, but I'm doing the posture. You got your palms flat, and like you're pushing yourself up off of a bench, and you're doing the exhale. I want you to imagine excess heat, energy from your heart center coming down from your heart, down and out the palms, especially out the Lao Gang point, which is this is where the fire element is connected to you physically. This is why people's hands get hot. It's the fire element. So you're going as you're in the process in the posture, you're going to exhale and allow the excess heat from the heart to come out and empty out through the hands and the soles of the feet. You can also send it down through the legs, down out the soles of the feet into the earth. The earth will take that. The earth wants your excess energy. The earth wants your refuse. So like when you take toxic stuff, you take like human waste or animal waste or dead bodies, what do? You bury it. You bury it, and the earth loves that. The earth eats it up and turns that into fuel for more life. So the things that you don't want to hold on to, the pain, the shame, the sadness, the resentment, the anger, the confusion, the self-doubt, when you exhale, as you do the Hool breath, let all of that empty out from your chest, out through your hands and your feet into the earth, and the earth wants that. So it's like the worse it is, the more garbage you have in you, the earth says, yeah, give me all the garbage. Because the earth can use it. You're actually giving the earth something that it can use to then continue to create life. So that's the first exercise, is to do the Hool breath. The second exercise, and I'm addressing people who aren't part of this. Now, if you want to fast track things, then I recommend that you go to the 90-day challenge at thunderwizard.com and click around until you see Warrior 90-day challenge. Just do that. We're now on level 2, which means we're 60 days in. Level 2 we'll talk about, but level 1 you actually learn how to release, because in your body you have all of the like I said, you're being manipulated to be a rebel wherever you go. The question is, are you rebelling against the right enemy? When you are manipulated by parents, society, religion, political correctness, whatever it is, whenever you're manipulated by that, and it's a manipulation that takes you away from your infinite power, then there's a part of you that becomes rageful. You may not be conscious of it. It'll be something on an unconscious level, but that rage will get lodged somewhere in your body. That rage continues to create the victim mentality. To release that, you can do very simple things to stretch the body, certain breaths, certain movements, which will release that and open up this attachment, this energy of the lightning in your heart, which will connect you to your true soul. So in the 90-day challenge, we do that. You just simply follow along with me. You press play and you just let me narrate you through it. Those people who have done it already know what I'm talking about. And then in level 2, we ramp it up. All I do is I add some very simple things, postures and meditations and things that you can do to balance the 5 organs and the 5 emotions and the 5 elements, and then you release. Some of you who are in level 2 know what I'm talking about. You're becoming more aware of uncomfortable feelings about yourself and about your, things that might be challenging, but it's like puking up bad fish. You're getting rid of the old wounds that are within you that are creating the delusion. Okay? And that's the whole point. The lightning will bring awareness of you, When you have awareness of you, when you have awareness of how you delude yourself, you will instantly see when somebody is deluded and or trying to delude you. That's why there is no doubt in me when it comes to knowing what the truth is. I'm able to look at both sides of whatever information stream is coming at me, and I can instantly know what is true and what is a lie. I don't have to ask the question that so many people ask, which is, how do I know what the truth is? Because I know what the truth of me is, and I'm continuing to learn the truth of me. And the more that I learn my truth about my own agendas, the more I can spot your agendas in a heartbeat. That's why when I tell people just ask questions, because if you put a comment, I'm going to know what your unconscious agendas are. Probably. Sometimes I'm wrong, but most of the time I'm right. And so if you want that ability, this is the path to do it. So the second, again, if you don't want to do all this stuff and you just want to do the free thing, no problem. The second thing that you can do is to do the Thor's Hammer Qigong. You can just go on to my channel and type it in there. Why don't I just, I like people to do the work themselves, but I'm going to do it for you right now because I can access it. I can just give you the link right here and right now. So why don't I do that for you? I won't do it again very often, but let's go ahead and take a look here. So I think it's actually in one of my playlists now that I think about it. Yeah, there it is. Why is that empty? Oh, that's not the one. Where is it? There's got to be another one here somewhere. Anyway, I'm not finding what I want as quickly as I want. Wait, let's check. Keep going. Forgive me. Give me a second here. I'll find it. Let's try again. Next page. Thor's Hammer Energy Practice. There it is. All right. So let's. What is that? There's the whole playlist. Here you go. So here's the whole playlist. You can do the Thor's Hammer Qigong practice. This will get you in touch with your connection to life force energy. This will get you in touch to the non-black magic Qigong system and get you started on the path of the thunder and lightning. So you don't have to memorize what I'm about to say. Just know that there's two paths to energy work, generally speaking. The traditional path is Jing to Qi to Shen. And if you go train in any traditional Qigong, Tai Chi, martial arts, they're going to talk about that path. That is the path of sexual energy to life force energy to the soul. And it's a long path, and but it's a safe path. The lightning path is from Qi, which is life force energy, to Shi, which is the lightning, heart-mind energy, to Yi, which is intention. This is the path that we take. It's a faster path. It's connected to more power, but it's more dangerous because the right-hand path, Jing to Qi to Shen, is a very slow introduction to your delusions. You slowly become aware of what your delusions are and you slowly let them go. It's not as traumatic. When you go the lightning path, the lightning instantly comes and strikes you and you become consciously aware of your delusions, which means all of your pain, and it becomes challenging because it feels like you're losing your identity. The normal path, which we'll talk about later when we start getting deeper into this in the 90-day challenge, but the normal path is you go from something to nothing and back to something again. What that means is you come in feeling like you know everything, and then you take that knowing of everything and you slowly let it go, and you lose your delusional ego, and you start to connect to emptiness, and then you put your ego back on and you go back out in the world. But the path of lightning is to go from nothing to something and back to nothing again. You don't have to, this doesn't have to make any sense to you. This is really something to meditate on. And so this is the path of emptiness. The true path of emptiness is the true path of power. In my ancestral spirituality, they said that the beginning of the world started in Gununga Gap, which means the yawning chasm. You know, the Bible calls it the void. The void doesn't mean there's nothing there. It means it's filled with infinity. In fact, there's so much there, but it is so powerful it can't be limited into a specific manifestation. If you were to walk into the void, you would disintegrate because you're limited, and limitation is a lack of power. So this is a path of power, but the first thing that happens is you must be reduced to nothing, because nothing is everything. And so this is, again, you've got to let go of your delusional emotional agendas. All right, so that's step number 2 is the Thor's hammer. Again, the only thing I'm doing now is I'm giving the average person who is not part of these other things what they can grab onto. Because what is most important about my channel is not listening to me talk. What is most important about my channel is that you do the work, do the exercises. The talk is to help you, grab onto something while you're being torn apart and being filled with your own infinity. So if all you do is come onto my channel and listen to me talk, you're getting 1%. It's a waste of your time. I mean, you're welcome, anybody's welcome on my channel, but this is about doing the work. As I said, there is a war for your perception. And if we as a species, because right now we're going through it, if we as a species take the opportunity to drop all of the victim mentality and really own our own agendas and tap into the power, we can turn this into a whole other type of environment, a completely different universe. These opportunities come every now and then. And so far on this timeline, we've kept rejecting it, which takes us further into limitation. And one of the times that where life could have gone to the next level was before the, quote, discovery of the New World by the Europeans. Hopis knew that the white man was coming. And they knew that the white man was their brother, who had, in the beginning, the 4 tribes of people, the 4 races, went off into different directions to master different elements. And then at the appointed time, we were to come back together and share our knowledge and turn the world to the next level and turn it into a utopia. Unless one or more of us lost ourselves. So the Hopis knew the white man was coming, and they knew that the white man was his brother that had been off learning about fire, and that if the white man came wearing a cross within a circle, it meant he remembered who he was, and he was going to bring this technology, which is what fire teaches you is technology. He was going to bring technology and combine that with the power of earth, which is the knowledge of the Native Americans, that was going to create this utopia. But if the white man showed up wearing a cross without the circle, it meant that he had forgotten who he was, and that very technology that he brings was going to bring destruction. And that was an opportunity. We missed that. There's other ones. End of World War I was an opportunity. End of World War II was an opportunity. This is an opportunity. This is the biggest opportunity we have to get over this delusion of isolation that we have and learn how to reconnect to ourselves so that we can reconnect to others. So that's the second thing you can do, which is the Thor's hammer. The third is you can open the channel of Kundalini, and this is done through mantra meditation. So you can go onto my channel, and there's no shortage of mantras there. In fact, there's a video on there. Why don't I, again, do the work for you, and I will find the 40-day mantra discipline. Okay, let's see. I teach you how to do that. No, on my channel. There we go. That's somebody else's channel. Don't give me somebody else's channel. My channel is the only one that matters. Yeah, let's be quiet. Thank you. All right, so there's that there. Now I've done some more work for you. This is the third tool, which allows you to use the power of Kundalini to become psychologically balanced and aware. Okay, so those are the first three. And again, these are for those of you who complain about I don't have money, or I don't want to pay, or you're a spiritual teacher, you should just give it to me for free. So there it is. It's free. It's been free this whole time. You just didn't know where it was. So those are the first three steps. We'll talk about steps 4 and 5 later. Let's just go ahead and get into the questions. This is a question and answer. This is not a free-for-all. So the best way to interact with me is to ask me an honest question. An honest question means that you think I have the answer to something that you don't, and you're going to ask me about that. Bear in mind, if you just dump your opinion or leave a comment, you are putting a target on you, and I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to go in and find out what your unconscious issues are, and you probably won't like it. So the best thing to do is to share an honest question, or to share an honest emotional feeling. An honest feeling isn't I feel this is going to happen, or I feel you're wrong. That's not a feeling. A feeling is I'm afraid, I'm angry, I'm confused, I'm happy. Those are feelings. So the two best ways to interact with me: honest question, honest feeling. The rest, I'm just telling you, you're setting yourself up. All right, so let's take a look here and see what we got. I don't see a question here yet. Rohan Kapoor, question: do you teach astrology? I mean, as a course? Yes, I do. And as you can see, I've got my links back up. So if you go to courses.thunderwizard.com, again, that's what the links are there for. You will see it. If you want to get a discount on a bunch of stuff, I'm giving crap away more than I'd even like to admit. You can go to lockdown.thunderwizard.com, and there I have the astrology, what do you call it, the astrology certification course there as well. Short answer: yes, I do teach an astrology course. Light and Darkness, question: I feel drawn to the Thunder Shaman path and you as teacher, but your teachings, you encourage people to connect with their ancestors. I'm Celt-Iberian background. How do I reconcile both? Why do you need to reconcile it? I mean, your ancestors are Celtic. Everybody, if you go, remember what I gave you the myth of the Hopis? At some point, we were all one tribe. You go back far enough, you're going to find two people in South Africa, Southeastern Africa. Those are your parents. It's just, different themes on the same thing. We're all people. So don't get wrapped up in all that. I don't care what ancestors you connect to, and your ancestors don't care what path you practice. Your ancestors are like, imagine your parents. Let's imagine you have healthy, loving parents right now, and your parents are there to support you, and you come in and you say you want to learn something that is totally different from your immediate ethnic background. Your parents are going to go, oh, that's so awesome. We totally support you in that. Your ancestors are going to support you in whatever path brings you the most awareness. We are in a period now where what is supposed to happen is that the varying knowledge from around the world is supposed to come, and we're supposed to become syncretists. We're supposed to take the best of all paths, and the sum of the parts is, or the sum of the parts is greater than the whole, or whatever the hell it is. So I do, look, light and darkness, just in your name. You've got a duality in your name. So get rid of the duality thinking there. There's nobody out there trying to keep you from, any knowledge that helps you. So you can connect directly with your ancestors and still, if you're seeing that I'm a different path, you can still do that. The thing to do is to listen to what your soul is telling you. And anybody, whether they're your dead ancestor or living ancestor or your friend, anybody who cares about you is going to support you in whatever path you choose to take. What else? KB question, can an energy imbalance cause one to randomly pass out? I guess, but that sounds like something I would go talk to my doctor about. So I can't answer that question. It sounds pretty scary to me. I would go see if you've got, something that needs to be taken a look at. Wildfire question, does the Hool breath activate your pineal gland? Yes. Why does that matter to you? But yes, it does. What else? Mike Larson, that's not a question, so let's see again. You put a target on your back, on your forehead, actually, if you just throw out a comment here. 2 summers ago, I did one of his meditations with breathing technique and heard a clear voice speak to me. It startled me out of my meditation, and I shot up and looked around for someone. I have had that same experience. Yep. And the thing is, we don't know what that means. It could mean that you tapped into something and some ancestral master was talking to you. You could have released your own unconscious fears or knowledge in your unconscious or fantasies. So the thing about any experience that you have, whether it's a voice or whether it's a vision or whether it's an intuition, what you do is you stack it up against objective reality. Again, this is what people aren't doing in real life. This is why people are going to blows over who won the election and who didn't, because people don't have the ability to take their feelings and compare it to objective reality. And when you can't tell the difference between your feelings and objective reality, that's called being completely deluded, and that's a problem. Having said that, so Mike, I don't know what that means. I've had the same experience. Anyway, I think we're both saying that they're powerful stuff. So Zach Jackson, again, let's see what Jack has to say. I'm a medium, and someone in the chat had a fiance, and they want me to tell whoever it is not to feel guilty. It was last minute, and she did. All right, okay, fine. Yeah, Zach, here's my take on mediums. Very rarely should you ever tell somebody something from the spirit world when they haven't asked you. It's abusive. You're not trying to be abusive, but it's unsolicited advice. And just because you have the ability to tap into things, people have to ask you. If anything, you can say, hey, I've got a message for somebody. If they want to hear it, let me know. But because there's a lot of people out there who think that they're mediums and they're not. And it's a way for them to act out their need for attention, and they think they're getting messages from the other side, when in reality they're either making things up or they're unconsciously reading the other person and telling them what they want to hear. I know, because people have done it to me. Having said that, there has been people who have reached out to me who have told me the truth, but they have my permission to do so. So Zach, you also, if you have this ability, you need to be charging money for it. Throwing it around for free is not spiritual. When you charge people money to do your work, not only do you take care of yourself and feed yourself, but you also set up a scenario where then the ancestors can work through you because your agendas have been met. The reason why, if you want to know why to pay a spiritual teacher or a psychic even, you pay them so that they don't have an emotional agenda to either please you or get something from you, and then they're open now to tell you what the universe is telling them. So Zach, I'm glad that you have this ability, but I don't want to encourage you to do that, what you just did. It's not healthy for you, and it creates all kinds of boundary problems for you and for other people. If you want to do it, I recommend that you own it. And like you said, you say, I'm a medium and I'm a psychic. Here's my services. If you want my services, here's my card, here's my website, and here's how much I charge. Having said that, my channel is not the place to go and advertise your services. Okay? You can do it on your own channel if you want. All right, Godchild 333. I had a lucid dream where reality bended and twisted and I became pure consciousness, and I asked a question. I got an answer back from the spirit. Okay, all right, and let's see what else. God's Child 333 question: what are the benefits of doing Thunder Qigong? Why don't you do it and then tell me? This is, I appreciate the question. It's an honest question, but I want to address, this is a Western mindset. The Western mindset says, I want to know ahead of time what it is. You walk into a traditional Sifu's, studio, and you walk in and you say, hey, what are the benefits of your Qigong? He's going to say, it was very nice to meet you. There's the door. When you walk in to learn from somebody, you don't ask those kinds of questions. You don't realize it, but superficially it is disrespectful. But more importantly, that kind of thinking gets in the way of your ability to learn. That old story, of if you want to learn something, you have to empty your cup. That means you don't even know what to ask yet. So again, even if I tell you what the benefits are, how are you going to know it? It's going to be intellectual knowledge. You don't have the physical awareness that goes with it. But there are benefits that cannot be verbally told to you ahead of time. I'm doing my best to explain to you what the benefits are. So my response to you is, if you want to find out, do it. And I'm giving you the free stuff. You can go figure it out without having to pay a dime. And if you want the higher level stuff, you can come to me and then you'll find out what that does for you. Let's see, what else? Black Earth Productions, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you. BlackEarthProductions.com has his own website and his own channel. Symphony, will Thunder Qigong help with Mace Gada practice? Yes. Thunder Qigong, that specific posture, which I also teach in the 90-day challenge. I won't tell you exactly what happens, but you are connecting. You're connecting and opening up that heart center, and you're opening up the Lao Gong point of your hand, and it's called, that posture was used in martial arts to get the heavy hand. So it means you can just barely tap somebody and it feels like that you've been hit with an explosion. You can barely touch somebody and it feels like a 20-pound metal bars come crashing down on you. So yeah, you put something in your hand and you know how to open that energy gate up. Again, you can just tap somebody with whatever weapon you're holding and it'll feel like, they've been hit with a nuclear bomb. What else? Dream Awaken question, could I do all 5 energy exercises on the same day? Yeah, but why are you asking that question? You guys are asking questions beforehand. You should just do it. Yeah, you can do it all in one day. I don't know that you're going to want to do that if you've never done this kind of stuff before. What's most important about disciplined work is to just do something every day. I've already given you one, which was the Hool breath. If you do the Hool breath for an hour a day, every day, for the rest of your life, you will achieve everything. But people want to do 5 things in a day. They've never done it before, but they went out, they're going to do 5 different things today, and they're going to really do it, and they spend 2 hours doing it, and they blow out a few circuits, and then the next day they wake up and they don't do anything, and that's worse. It's better to do something for 3 minutes a day. If you did the Hool breath for 3 minutes a day, every day for a month, that is better than doing 5 hours of something, on the first day and then never doing it ever again. But it's typical. It's what we do. Somebody wants to go and get fit and they haven't been exercising. They go to the gym and they work out for 2 hours and then they wake up the next day and they can't move and they never get back in the gym again. All right. Sunshine on Sophia question. The lockdown package website says your calendar is full for personal sessions. That is true. Do you have an idea when you will be opening up your schedule again? Are you asking me that you want to take the lockdown package, but only if I do personal sessions? I still can do personal sessions. You want a personal session? You can get any of the services there that have personal sessions. You can go to career.thunderwizard.com. The reason why I stopped doing and you scroll to the bottom of that. The reason why I stopped doing the personal sessions with the lockdown package is because I'm already busting my ass and giving away, thousands of dollars worth of stuff. And then on top of that, I'm spending 2 hours with you. So it ends up, I end up basically, doing, $1,000, $2,000 worth of work, and I get, almost nothing for it. So it was something I did in the beginning to help people out and to sort of try and kickstart people's economy. But even as it is, you're getting a huge value. And again, I'm this close to just turning the whole thing off. So again, asking that kind of question, it sounds like an entitlement mindset, and it sounds like you don't appreciate all that I am offering with that. So I know you don't mean that, but no, I don't plan on opening up the personal session with the lockdown package. Again, the lockdown package is on its way out. If you want it, take it while you can, because if you don't, then you're going to have to pay specifically for each one of those services if you want. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Jedi Black Knight. So it's called Lao Gong. Yes. I did feel something open up on the middle of my palm while doing the ether element, which is the wood element, which is the heavy hand. Not sure if this is what it is, but persist. Yeah, that's what that ether element standing posture, which is the wood element, is also the thunder posture, and it gives you the heavy hand. It gives you the power of the thunder god, and that's what'll happen. Your hand will start getting really heavy, and all the blood will rush in there, and the Lao Gong point, and your hands will get really hot. Yeah, that's what martial arts. That's if somebody was a martial artist and they did that exercise, they would sit in that posture for hours, because then they would be invincible. They would have a thunder fist. Creative Virgo question regarding ancestors: do you have an altar for them and give offerings? I personally don't, but that's just because I'm bouncing around. Even though I've been in the same house for a year, I still don't know where I'm at, so I haven't set up an altar with all that kind of stuff. But people have altars to the ancestors in their house anyway. What do you think your parents' picture is over your nightstand? What do you think? The reason why people still put family photos on above their fireplace is because the fireplace was called the Ingle Nook, which meant the Nook of Ing. Ing was the god of the internal fire, and you lit the fire and you put the things associated with the ancestors above the fire. So you already have an altar. Those are a couple of things that you can do. So did I answer that question? In other words, there's not one thing that you have to do. As long as to honor the ancestors is just to have the mindset to thank them. And before I do my practices, I always thank the ancestors, and I thank the teachers that went before me, and if I know them by name, I give their names. And if people I've known in my life have passed away, I talk to them and I thank them, and they're there, they interact with us. So you don't have to make too big of a deal out of it, but you can if you want. Mike Larson: I have refrained from doing that specific breathing technique since that experience. What breathing technique? You said you did one of you throw that out there and you don't tell me what it is. You say that you did one of his meditations. I'm assuming you mean mine. I want to know what you did that was so powerful for you that you're now afraid to do it. Because I want to question you on that. I want to challenge you on that. I don't know that was what you needed to do. Just because you heard a voice doesn't necessarily mean anything positive or negative. But, this is, if you have that gift, you have to learn how to live with it, and you have to learn how to use it. Just because, this is the weirdest thing. If some homeless person was to come knocking on your door, you would say, "Get out, this is my house." But just because a ghost shows up, people they go catatonic and they don't do anything. Ghosts are consciousness. You can either invite them in or you can kick them out. One of the things this practice will do, if you get into the lightning power practice, what's going to happen is you're going to clean out the area that you're in. You don't realize it, but you're surrounded by spirits all the time. But when you do this practice, what it does is it cleanses, it electrifies the energy, and any lower level spirits don't want to be anywhere near it. And so you'll feel like your house is really quiet. You'll feel a quietness and like a cleansing in the house, and that means that you've cleansed it of spirits. So sometimes when a spirit shows up, it means that you are stimulating the energy around you, and it's actually a good thing. So Mike Larson, I don't know. This is why people have teachers. So teachers can guide you through this kind of stuff. I don't know if you have one or not, but I'm not sure that that's a good idea. Just because you had a bad experience or a spiritual experience doesn't mean you should stop. Maybe you should keep going. So you can learn how to harness that gift instead of be afraid of it. What else? All right, Mike Larson. Where you sit and have your hands out in front of you with palms facing down. Do I teach that? Is it that the hands are out in front of you or that the hands are to your side? I think you mean to say the Hool breath. Because I do teach standing postures where your hands are out in front, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. But what is it? Is it the Hool breath? What else? I don't see anything else. All right, so I've got us up to 3, right? So the Hool breath, the thunder, not the thunder qigong, the Thor's hammer qigong. I've given that to you, and I've given you the mantra meditation. Did I give you a mantra? I've given you the. If you look up there, I gave you the. There it is again. There's the how to do mantra meditation, and you can do this mantra with it. Om Namah Shivaya. You can do that mantra with it if you want to do a mantra, and I haven't given you one. Okay, there's that. What else? All right, so now we get to 4 and 5. So we need to start getting into some deeper stuff now. So we don't need to. Actually, you don't need to get deeper than any of that right there. Those 3 things are more than most traditions even come close to giving. So we now need to start doing the work where we take a look at ourselves. So the 4th exercise I want to give you is called the recapitulation exercise. If you've read any of Carlos Castaneda's stuff, you're familiar with things like that. So I'm just going to give you an easy one. A recapitulation exercise. You can do those 3 things, and then after you've gotten yourself energetically connected, I want you to go into a state of deep breathing. You can do it in the Hool breath posture if you want. And I want you to take yourself back to a trauma. The trauma could be as simple as you got your heart broken by the girl of your dreams. Could be when your parents yelled at you or when something happened to you. And what you're going to do while you're doing the Hool breath, you're going to see yourself in the past at that age. You're going to imagine yourself coming into the situation like a being of light, like an angel. So you're showing up as a guardian angel for your younger self. And I want you to become aware of what damaging, self-limiting belief that you took on to yourself that lodged into your heart center. Somebody yelled at you, and so you've been afraid to speak your truth. A girl hurt your feelings, so you feel that you're not lovable anymore. Whatever the heck it is. So I want you to see and watch yourself take on the wound and the false projection that comes from that, the self-directed negativity, whatever negative belief you then took on, which has been driving you ever since. So you're going to watch that happen, and then you're going to take your younger self and you pull yourself out of the situation and sit yourself down, and you're going to say, I'm here to tell you that you're infinite and that you have the power to be your authentic self. Don't allow this to influence your thinking. So just talk to yourself out of buying into whatever idea, you're never going to be good enough for another woman, you'll never make money, whatever it is that you took on in your self-imposed negativity that you're now carrying around with you. And then, allow yourself to meditate on the way that that's affected your life, how you have continued to make self-limiting choices. And every time that you bump into those self-limiting choices, you're afraid to go walk up to a pretty girl and ask her out. You're afraid to start a business. You're whatever it is, because you have self-imposed negativity. Find a time during the day to sit down and meditate and talk to your younger self. Say, hey, and again, you're coming to your younger self as this infinite being of light, like an angel. And you're going to then give yourself permission to be infinite and to be powerful. Okay? So that's going to be number 4. Vincent.thunderwizard.com. Anybody wants to go get a reading? Somebody asked about astrology. You can get a reading from Vincent. He also knows my method on how to give out mantras based on your own chart. You can go to his website, vincent.thunderwizard.com. Yeah, he just said that in the comment. Yeah. Okay, what else? So that's number 4. So number 5. Number 5 is going to be learning how to remember your infinity. Okay, remembering your infinity. I want you to operate from the assumption that I've been giving you, which is that you chose to come here. You're not a victim. That doesn't mean that you haven't gone through horrific things in your life. But remember, that's from your limited perspective, your 3-dimensional limited perspective. I want you to walk the tightrope of, on the one hand, having all of your feelings. Do not limit yourself. Do not talk yourself out of your pain, your anger, your fear, your sadness, your happiness, your joy, your confusion, your doubt. Don't talk yourself out of any of those feelings. Have them 100%. But at the same time, do not operate from them as assumptions. I want you to adopt the assumption that you came here as an infinite being of infinite power and light, and you chose to come into this 3-dimensional illusion in order to remember your power. The 2 main reasons you came here was to overcome karmic issues, self-imposed negativity, in order to become awakened to your true self. And then the second thing you came here to do was to flex your infinite muscles and manifest everything you want. Health, happiness, prosperity, love, stuff that you can't even imagine is possible. I can tell you from my experience, you don't have to be psychic and know what's coming next. The only thing you have to do is have this assumption that your job is to come here and live your greatest desires, your greatest fantasies, your soul desires. You are here to experience that. That's why you're here. And then to always be asking yourself, what is it that my soul wants? And if you do what your soul wants, your soul will always guide you in the ways that will keep you bulletproof. My life is a perfect example. When the pandemic hit, I mean, I was here in Australia, but I thought, it's going to last 3 or 4 months and then it'll be gone. I had no idea that it was going to turn into what it's turned into. And it doesn't look like it's going to end, tomorrow or the next day. We don't know where it's going. We don't know what's going to happen with it. But my body and my soul knew that I needed to be right where I am. I knew I needed to get out of California. I didn't know where. I didn't have anything. I didn't know anybody. I just knew I wanted to, you've heard the story. I wanted to surf in a nice, forested, semi-tropical place with empty beaches and all that other stuff. And this is where I chose to be. And I went through some stuff and released a lot of baggage that I had been carrying with me for 6 months, and then COVID hit. And then I've been here for 1.5 years now, and I have not had to deal with anything, because this is like the best place in the world. There's no COVID. There's no, it's because they're doing different things here. But the point is that I didn't know where I was supposed to go or what I was supposed to do. I just kept listening to what I wanted to do, and I just did what I wanted, no matter how difficult or challenging or impossible as it seemed. And every time I do that, I always end up bulletproof. Stuff happens all over the world, or things happen, and I end up just like flowing through it. And if nobody told me that the whole world was locked down, I wouldn't know. I'm blissfully ignorant if it weren't for news and internet. So I want you to remember your infinity. Go back to the times in your life where you took on negative patterns of belief about yourself, and go back and talk yourself back into being infinite again. And then start taking action as though you are that. All right. Wildfire. Question. Do you believe in the Akashic Records? Why are you asking me? So the thing we do on my channel is you ask me questions about stuff I teach. And ideally, asking me questions about stuff I'm talking about. I've never talked about the Akashic Records. So I don't believe it or disbelieve it. I think it's a way of spiritualizing what we all know. Like, why does there have to be Akashic Records? Why can't you just tap into your past lives, your history? Why do you have to believe in Akashic Records to do that? Like I said, I got nothing against Akashic Records, but it's one of those sort of new agey kind of things that, Edgar Cayce and Akashic Records. But the reason why it bothers me is because it's outside of you. It's something other than you. You have to go and read about this. It's like going, anyway, I could go on and on and on. But I don't have anything against it. It's not something that I've spent time thinking about. And to me, it's kind of a distraction. Whatever the Akashic Records are, they're within you. Everything is within you. I guess that's what bothers me about it. You are everything. Everything is within you. When you meditate and you meditate on the universe, you're thinking of yourself. When you look up into the sky at night and you see all those stars, you're not looking outside of yourself. You're looking inside. You are everything, including the Akashic Records. What else? Nothing else? All right, so that's it. So I have started once again doing the energy healings. So these are distance energy empowerments. You can go to energyhealing.thunderwizard.com. I'll do it for whomever or whatever you want. But bear in mind that obviously I don't make any promises about anything. People have told me, not everybody, but some people have told me that when they've got it, that they had some powerful experiences. But the thing you want to look for when you get one of these distance energy healings, energy transmissions, is that what you want to look for is to see what happens with your life. Bear in mind, this isn't me doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm doing the energy work and I'm opening up the portals, but this is between you and your soul and your guides, and they're the ones that do that. I'm just the mediator for that. And this is the kind of energy that we're talking about. It's this heart lightning energy that's used to destroy negativity and delusion, self-delusion especially. And so what you want to look for is to see shifts in your life after you do this. But sometimes people have a physical experience, some people have a visual experience, some people, it's all kinds of weird things happen, but I'm not trying to sell you on that. So I still do that. Courses.thunderwizard.com is everything that I have. People ask me, do you have this, do you have that? Go to courses.thunderwizard.com. The 90-day challenge, the things that I'm promoting right now, which I'm really focused on, is the 90-day challenge. In order to do that, you need to get your nervous system opened up and strengthened. And for that, we have Celestial Qigong. Celestial Qigong is part of the lockdown package. It's something I give to you for free. If you just want the Celestial Qigong, you can go to spirittao.com and get that, or you can do the energy exercises, the free energy exercises on this channel. The thunderwizard.com site will give you access. Look at all the different levels on there. Even at the lowest level, you get the shamanic mastery course. You got the manifestation mastery course, and then you have the warrior 90-day challenge, which is I'm starting to roll out this esoteric, sorcery path of the lightning. And level 1, you're going to go through do some yoga and some breathing and some qigong and some meditation in order to tap you into your soul and get you moving towards what your soul wants to do. You say, I don't know what my soul wants. I do a half-hour workout of all those things that I would do, and you get to do it with me. And then level 2, I start introducing some of the other higher level energy stuff, which people will explain. I teach you how to use the elements in a way that will cleanse you. It's a way of working with the elements for fighting evil. So the same kind of process you could use to change the political dynamic. Bear in mind, every time you use that kind of magic on some external event, if you're on the wrong side of that, you're just basically sending it to you. So if you've got the wrong idea of what politics, where it should go, and you use that energy on politics to do what you think is supposed to happen, if you're not in the right mindset, it's coming back on you. But it's always good because you'll end up becoming aware of how you were off. So this is some of the power that we're talking about. And then in phase 3, I'm going to start doling out some of the high level stuff where you really just use your, change in your shift and body awareness and shifting things around, where you open up the meridians that tap you into, releasing the lightning in a really powerful way. That's coming in volume 3. And then my plan is to share all of it. I just haven't decided exactly what platforms to do that in. Okay, so those are the things that are going on with me. Of course, subscribe and smash the bell button so that you can be hip to whenever I do videos, upload videos. Let's see what else. Did I see another question here? Renee Heal the Eagle question. Any plans on distance energy healing certification? Yeah, I'm not ready to do that, but that is something that could be done. I'm not ready for that just yet, but thank you for reminding me. That's an excellent idea. Vincent.thunderwizard.com. Oh, okay, that's not a question. Wildfire question, I already answered that. That's it. We're all done. Okay, guys. Have a great evening. Let's see what else. Sunshine on Sophia. I'm almost 30 days into the first phase of 90-day challenge, and it's helping my energy to stay balanced as past trauma is acknowledged and healed. Strongly recommend. Thank you for that recommendation, Shine on Sophia. And yeah. All right, nothing else? Nothing else. All right, guys, thank you, and stay safe and stay powerful, and I will see you all when I see you.